Ladies, let me tell you something. If a married man is calling you late at night, telling you his wife doesn't understand him, telling you that you are the only one who gets him, I need you to hear me clearly. That is not romance. That is not fate. That is not two souls finding each other against all odds. That is a man shopping for an escape hatch while somebody else washes his clothes. And today, I'm going to show you the 5 signs that a married man desires you, what they really mean inside his mind, and what a woman who knows her worth does with that information. Because this conversation right here might be the one that saves you 5 years of your life. So sit down, get comfortable, and let me break this down for you, sister to sister. Now, before we get into these signs, I need to set the table. Because some of you are already defensive. Some of you are sitting there saying, Steve, you don't know him. You don't know our situation. It's complicated. Baby, it's not complicated. It's never complicated. A married man desiring you is the oldest story in the book, and it only feels new because this time it's happening to you. I'm not saying that to shame you. I'm saying that to wake you up. Because what you're calling complicated, he's calling convenient. What you're calling a connection, he's calling an opportunity. And what you're calling love, well, we're going to spend the next while finding out what that actually is. See, here's what you have to understand about a married man who starts moving toward another woman. This is not a man who fell out of love with his wife on a Tuesday and met you on a Wednesday. That is a fairy tale he tells you so you don't feel like what you actually are in his plan, which is a side door. The truth is, most married men who pursue other women have been building a little exit ramp in their mind for a long time. Months, sometimes years. And the exit ramp is not made of love. It's made of boredom, ego, routine, and the slow death of feeling like a king in his own house. You didn't cause that. You just walked past the door right when he was looking for somebody to open it. Let me break down what's really happening inside his mind. A man gets married, and in the beginning, his wife is magic. She laughs at his jokes. She touches his arm. She looks at him like he's somebody. And then life happens. Bills happen. Kids happen. She's tired. He's tired. Nobody's clapping when he walks through the door anymore. And here's the part nobody wants to tell you. A man's ego needs feeding the way a car needs gas. When the tank runs low at home, he does not always do the honorable thing, which is to fix the marriage. Sometimes he goes looking for a gas station. And sister, if you're standing on the corner glowing, he's pulling in. That's not poetry. That's fuel. Now, does that mean every married man who talks to you wants you? No. Let me be fair. Men talk to women all day long with nothing behind it. A coworker, a neighbor, the lady at church. Being friendly is not a sign. But there is a difference between a man being polite and a man positioning himself. Polite is public, casual, and forgettable. Positioning is private, escalating, and deliberate. And the 5 signs I'm about to give you are the difference between those two things. By the end of this, you will not have to guess anymore. You will not have to ask your girlfriends. You will not have to lie awake decoding his text messages like they're ancient scrolls. You're going to know. And here's my promise to you. By the time we finish, 3 things are going to happen. 1, you're going to see his behavior with brand new eyes. And some of you are going to feel a little sick. And that's okay. Because the truth burns going down, but it heals once it's in you. 2, you're going to understand his psychology better than he understands it himself. Because I'm going to hand you the playbook men don't even know they're running. And 3, you're going to walk away with your power in your hands, knowing exactly what to do, what not to do, and who you are in all of this. Because this video is not about him. It was never about him. It's about you. Sign number 1. A married man who desires you starts telling you his marriage is broken, and he tells you early. Now listen to me carefully on this one, because this is the foundation everything else is built on. A man who respects his marriage, even a struggling marriage, does not advertise as problems to an outside woman. He just doesn't. A decent man in a hard marriage talks to his wife, talks to a counselor, talks to his pastor, talks to his brother. You know who he doesn't talk to? The pretty woman at work, the new friend from the gym, the woman he's been messaging on social media. When a married man opens up to you about how unhappy he is, that is not vulnerability. That is not honesty. That is a sales pitch. He is presenting his resume for the position of man you should feel sorry for. And baby, once you feel sorry for him, your guard drops about 30% without you even noticing. Think about how it goes. It's innocent at first. You're talking about nothing, the weather, the job, whatever. And then one day he says, you know, it's nice to talk to someone who actually listens. Now that sounds harmless, doesn't it? It sounds like a compliment. But pay attention to what he just did. He just told you that at home, nobody listens. He just slid a knife into his marriage and handed you the handle. And if you let that pass without question, a week later, it becomes, my wife and I, we're more like roommates now. And a month later, it's honestly, I haven't been happy in years. I stay for the kids. Every sentence is a brick, and he is building a little house for the two of you to hide in, one brick at a time. And the bricks are made of her failure. Notice that. The house only stands if the wife stays terrible. I knew a woman, let's call her Maya, sharp woman, good job, good heart, raised 2 boys by herself. She met a man at her church's volunteer program, married, 22 years, married. He was the friendly one, always carrying boxes, always cracking jokes. And over about 3 months, he started telling Maya things. His wife was cold. His wife hadn't touched him in a year. His wife only cared about her social status. And Maya, being the kind of woman who fixes things, started feeling like this man's life raft. She told me, Steve, he just needed someone to talk to. I was being a friend. And I said, Maya, let me ask you something. Has he ever once in all these months said one good thing about his wife? She went quiet because the answer was no, not one. And I told her, that's how you know it's not venting. Venting has balance. Venting says, she's a good woman. We're just struggling. A campaign has no balance. A campaign has one message. She is the villain. I am the prisoner, and you are the key to my cell. Here's what's happening inside his mind, and I want you to really get this. He knows exactly what he's doing. Men are not confused about this. When a married man downgrades his wife in front of you, he is running a test. He is watching your face to see if you flinch. If you say, hey, don't talk about your wife like that, a lot of men will fold right there because that sentence tells him you're not available land. But if you nod, if you soften, if you say, that's so sad, you deserve to be happy, he just got his answer. You have told him, without saying it, that the door is unlocked. He didn't break in. You opened it a crack, and that's all a man like this needs. So here's what you do instead. When a married man starts telling you his marriage is dead, you do not become his therapist. You become his mirror. You say, that sounds really hard. Have you told her that? Have you two been to counseling? And watch what happens next, because that response is a truth serum. A man with genuine pain will consider it. A man with an agenda will change the subject, or worse, he'll get a little irritated because you just handed his problem back to him and he didn't want it back. He wanted to leave it on your doorstep like a gift. Sister, a drowning man grabs anything, but a man who just wants to swim away from his marriage will try to grab you. Learn the difference. One needs help. The other needs an accomplice. Sign number 2. He creates private channels with you. He moves the communication out of the light. Now hear me on this. Innocent relationships live in public. A married coworker who emails you about the project during work hours, that's normal. A married neighbor who waves from the driveway, that's normal. But a married man who desires you cannot afford daylight, and deep down you already know that because you felt that little drop in your stomach when his name pops up at 11:47 p.m. It's 11:47 p.m. Your phone lights up, your heart jumps, and it's him. You up? 2 words, sister. 2 words that took him all day to send because he waited. He waited until his wife was asleep. He waited until the house was quiet. He waited until he was a single man again, sitting in the dark, reaching for you. That's not spontaneity. That's scheduling. You are on his hidden calendar. Watch the pattern. At first, it's the occasional message. Then it's every day. Then he gets you off the public app and onto a private one. Hey, message me on this other platform. I barely checked this one. Baby, he checks that one plenty. What he means is, my wife might see this one. Then come the little rituals, good morning texts. Just thinking about you in the middle of his workday, and the messages always have a shelf life. He goes quiet at dinner time, quiet on weekends, quiet on holidays, family vacations, her birthday. You've never noticed that? Let me tell you about a woman I know. Let's call her Rachel. She was talking to a married man from her office for 7 months. 7 months of constant contact, and she swore it was just friendship. And I asked her one question. I said, Rachel, pull up your messages. Show me one conversation from a Saturday. She scrolled and scrolled and scrolled. Every message, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The man vanished every single weekend like a magic trick. Because on weekends, he belonged to somebody. And on weekdays, he was renting Rachel's heart. That's the thing about private channels. They don't just hide the conversation from his wife. They hide the relationship from reality. In the dark, everything feels bigger, deeper, more intense than it is. Those midnight texts feel like intimacy because midnight is when your defenses are down and your loneliness is up. He is not texting you at midnight because that's when he thinks of you. He's texting you at midnight because that's when he can. And there's a canyon of difference between those two things. And most women spend years standing in that canyon calling it love. Here's the psychology, sister. Secrecy is exciting to a man like this, but not for the reason you think. You think the sneaking around proves the passion, like the two of you are some forbidden love story. No, the secrecy is the point. The secrecy is the drug. See, his marriage has no mystery left in it, so he manufactures mystery with you. Hidden messages, coded language, deleting threads. It makes him feel alive, dangerous 25 again. But understand what that makes you. It makes you his adrenaline, not his future adrenaline. And nobody builds a life on adrenaline. You can't raise kids on it. You can't grow old on it. And you can't be introduced to his mother on it. So here's your move. You watch where the relationship is allowed to exist. If a man can only talk to you in the shadows, then the shadows are all he's offering. Say it out loud to yourself. If this can only exist in secret, then it doesn't exist. Because a man's intentions are not measured by what he says at midnight. They're measured by what he does at noon, in public, with his name attached. Real love is not intensity. Real love is consistency. And a man whose consistency comes with a curfew is not loving you. He's visiting you. There's a difference between a home and a hotel. And you, sister, were not built to be anybody's hotel. Sign number 3. He starts comparing you to his wife, and somehow you always win. Oh, this one is slick. This one feels like praise, and that's why it's dangerous. He says things like, you know what I love about you? You actually laugh at my jokes. My wife stopped laughing years ago. Or, you're so easy to talk to. I can't talk to her about anything. Or the classic, if I had met you 10 years ago, things would be different. And when he says it, your chest gets warm, doesn't it? You feel chosen. You feel special. You feel like the answer to a question he's been asking his whole life. Baby, sit down, because I'm about to tell you what that compliment actually costs. Every comparison is a transaction. When he says, you're not like my wife, he is not describing you. He is describing his need. You are not being seen. You are being used as a mirror for everything missing in his house. And here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell you. The woman he compares you to was once you. That wife he calls cold. There was a year when she was the funniest thing he'd ever met. That woman he says doesn't listen. He used to talk to her until 2 a.m. He didn't marry a cold woman. He helped create one. And now he's out recruiting your warmth to escape the temperature he set in his own home. And if you take his wife's place, hear me now, you inherit her weather. The same man, the same habits, the same slow winter. A comparison is not a compliment. It's a preview of your future job description. Temporary warmth provider. Let me tell you about Tasha. Beautiful woman, own her own salon, confident, nobody's fool. That's what makes this story important, because smart women fall for this too. A married client, this man had been coming to her chair for 2 years. Nice man, funny. Started as small talk. And one day he said, Tosh, you know what amazes me? You run this whole business, you raise your daughter, and you still got joy. My wife, she has half your load and none of your light. And Tasha told me that sentence was the moment she fell. Not flowers, not a touch, a comparison, because it made her feel like a queen next to a peasant. And baby, that feeling is intoxicating. She said, Steve, it felt good to be the upgrade. And I had to tell her the hard thing. I said, Tasha, a man who ranks women is a man who will rank you. The day you become his, you stop being the comparison and start being the compared. There's always a newer chair, a newer laugh, a newer light. 2 years later, that man left his wife, dated Tasha for 8 months, and cheated on her with a woman from his gym. And when Tasha confronted him, you know what he said? She's just so easy to talk to. Same sentence. Because it was never about the woman. It was about the mirror. Here's what's happening inside his mind. Comparison is his way of doing 2 jobs at once. Job 1, it flatters you into closeness. Job 2, it justifies him. See, he can't cheat on a good wife, not in his own story. Every man is the hero of his own movie, so he has to edit the film. He has to make her the villain and you the savior. So that's when you stops feeling like betrayal and starts feeling like rescue. He is not comparing you because you're winning. He's comparing you because he needs a reason. You are not his preference. You are his permission slip. So when a married man compares you to his wife, don't smile. Get still and say this out loud if you have to. Don't do that. She's your wife. If there's a problem, she's the one you should be having this conversation with. Now watch his face. A good man will be embarrassed, and he should be. A man on a mission will double down. No, you don't understand. She's really awful, because he needs you to accept the downgrade of his wife to keep the fantasy alive. And sister, the moment you realize that his compliments have a body count, they stop tasting sweet. You are not the better woman. You are the newer audience. There's a difference. Sign number 4. He finds reasons to be near you, and the reasons keep getting thinner. A married man who desires you becomes a master of the almost accident. He just happens to take his break when you take yours. He just happens to be in your neighborhood. He just happens to need your help with something he absolutely could have asked anybody else about. The man's calendar starts orbiting you like you got gravity. And if you called him on it, he'd have an explanation every single time because the explanations were prepared before the encounters. Let me tell you something about men. Men are simple creatures when they want something. A man who wants to see you will see you. A man who wants to talk to you will talk to you. And a married man who can't openly pursue you will do the next best thing. He will engineer proximity and call it coincidence. It's not coincidence. It's choreography. Pay attention to the escalation because it's always a staircase. Step 1, he positions himself where you'll be. Step 2, he extends the time. Conversations that used to be 2 minutes become 20. Step 3, he creates one-on-one situations. Hey, walk with me to the parking lot. Can I get your opinion on something in private? Step 4, physical proximity. Standing closer than the conversation requires. A hand on your shoulder that stays 1 second too long. The famous married man lean, where he leans against your desk like he's planting a flag. And every step is small enough that you can't object without looking paranoid. That's the design. If you say, "Why are you always around me?" you sound arrogant. He knows that. He's counting on that. His whole strategy depends on you being too polite to name what's happening. Well, sister, today you lose that politeness. Today you name it. And listen, I need to say this part clearly because some of you are enjoying it and you don't want to hear me. The attention feels good. Of course it does. You're human. A charming man arranging his whole day around crossing your path, that's flattering. Especially if it's been a while since somebody pursued you like that. Especially if you're coming out of a season where you felt invisible. I'm not going to sit here and pretend his attention has no power, because then you won't trust anything else I say. It has power. That's exactly why it's dangerous. A counterfeit dollar works precisely because it looks real. His pursuit works precisely because it feels like the real thing. The problem is not that it feels good. The problem is what it costs. Because every coincidental encounter is moving you 1 step further from your clarity and 1 step deeper into his plan. And he has a plan, baby. Men like this always have a plan. I knew a woman named Denise. Worked in property management, 41, divorced, hadn't been on a date in 3 years. There was a married man, a vendor, who came through her building twice a month. And slowly, twice a month became once a week. Then twice a week. Always a reason. A boiler to check. A contract had to discuss. A unit to walk through that had been walked through 4 times already. Denise said, "Steve, I thought he just liked my company. He said I was the only competent person in that building. He started bringing her coffee, knew her order, knew she took it with 1 sugar, no cream. And that detail, that 1 sugar detail, that was the thing that got her. She told me, my ex-husband never once remembered how I took my coffee." And that's when I knew Denise was in trouble, because she wasn't falling for the man anymore. She was falling for the attention. The man was just the delivery truck. And I asked her the question I'm going to ask you. Denise, if he's this attentive, this thoughtful, this devoted, why is he going home to somebody else every night? She didn't have an answer, because there isn't one. Attention without intention is just entertainment. His entertainment, your expense. Here's what's happening inside his mind. Proximity is his testing ground. Every engineered encounter tells him something. Does she smile? Does she linger? Does she fix her hair when I walk in? He is collecting data on your availability, the way a man checks the weather before a fishing trip. And the thin excuses serve a double purpose. They give him access to you, and they give him deniability to everyone else, including himself. I'm just being friendly. We're just colleagues. Deniability is the oxygen this whole thing breathes. The moment the thing gets named out loud, it starts to die, which is exactly why you should name it. So here's the directive. You start watching his reasons with adult eyes. You ask yourself 1 question every time. Did this require me? The boiler did not require you. The contract did not require you. The walk to the parking lot did not require you. When a married man's needs can only be met by your presence, his needs are not professional. And you do not confront him with anger. You confront him with clarity. I've noticed you're around a lot. Everything okay at home? Boom. Watch him stammer. Because you just did the one thing his whole strategy is built to avoid. You turned on the lights. And things that grow in the dark, sister, they do not survive the light. Sign number 5. He starts talking about the future with you in it. But the future is always foggy. Oh, this is the most dangerous sign of all. And I saved it for last because it's the one that keeps women hooked for years. Not the flirting, not the late texts, the future talk. He says things like, if things were different, you'd be the kind of woman I'd marry. When my situation changes, I want you to be part of my life. Just give me time. Once the kids are older, once the business settles, once she gets through her surgery, there's always a once. And sister, the once is the hook. Because now you're not dating a man, you're waiting for a timeline. And women will wait on a timeline the way people wait on a train the station master knows is never coming. He just keeps announcing delays. The future is coming, folks, just a little longer on the platform. Let me be brutally clear about something. A man shows you his intentions through his calendar, not his vocabulary. Words are free. Words cost him nothing. We're basically separated is free. I'm going to leave is free. You're my future is free. You know what's not free? A lawyer, a lease, a conversation with his wife where he tells the truth. That's not free, and that's why he never pays it. The foggy future is not a promise. It's a parking space. He's keeping you in one spot so you'll be there when and if he ever decides to move. And statistically, let me tell you, most of them never move. They don't leave. They were never going to leave. The leaving talk was never a plan. It was bait. You don't put bait on a hook you intend to reel in and marry. You put bait on a hook to keep the fish interested. And here's the psychological masterpiece of the foggy future. It turns you into an investor. The longer you wait, the more you've invested. And the more you've invested, the harder it is to walk away. This is how smart women lose 5 years, 7 years. I've met women who gave a married man a decade, not because they were stupid, because the math of the heart is broken. Every year you wait makes leaving feel like losing everything you've put in. So you stay one more year to justify the last year. And he knows this. He may not know the name of it, but he knows it works. That's why the future never gets specific. Specific futures can fail. Foggy futures can't. Fog lasts forever if nobody walks through it. Let me tell you about a woman. We'll call her Angela. Met a married man when she was 33. He told her his marriage was over in everything but paperwork. That was year 1. Year 2, he couldn't leave because of his daughter's health. Year 3, his wife's mother got sick, and how could he abandon the family during that? Year 4, a custody concern. Year 5, he bought his wife a new house, and Angela found out on social media. 5 years, sister. 5 birthdays she spent alone because he was with his family. 5 Christmases. 5 years of soon. And when she finally ended it, you know what he said? Not don't go, not I'll leave her today. He said, I thought you understood my situation. His situation. 5 years of her life was a line item in his situation. Angela is fine now, by the way. Married a good man, a single man, a man who put a date on the calendar and a ring on her finger inside of 2 years. But she will tell you herself, the married man didn't steal 5 years from her. She donated them, one soon at a time. And the day she stopped donating, her life came back. Here's what's happening inside his mind. And this might be the most important thing I say today. He does not experience the waiting the way you do. For you, the waiting is sacrifice. For him, the waiting is the arrangement. This is the arrangement. He gets a wife at home who handles his life and a woman in waiting who handles his ego. He has no problem to solve. You are waiting for a solution to a problem he doesn't have. Let that land. You are waiting for a solution to a problem he doesn't have. His situation is not broken from where he sits. It's perfect. 2 women, 2 kinds of love, 1 man in the middle being worshipped on both sides. Why would he ever end that? The only person suffering in his perfect arrangement is you. And your suffering is invisible to him because you keep showing up smiling. Every time you stay, you vote for the arrangement. Every patient month is a ballot that says, this works for me too. So here's what you do with the foggy future. You demand weather. You say, I don't do futures with married men. When you're divorced, final, paper in hand, living in your own place, you know where to find me. And this is the part that separates women who know from women who hope. You go live your life like he's never coming. You date, you build, you glow. Because here's the secret he doesn't want you to know. Your patience is the only thing keeping him comfortable. And your departure is the only thing that will ever make him decide. Some of these men do leave their marriages. They leave when the side door closes. They leave when the woman they were parking finally drives away. I'm not saying that's a strategy, because you should never leave a man to make him chase you. You leave because you're done. But understand the mechanics. As long as you're available in the waiting room, he has no appointment to keep. Now, let's put all 5 signs together, because in real life, they don't come one at a time. They come as a package, and the package has a sequence. It starts with the broken marriage story, because that's the permission slip. Then the private channel, because that's the hiding place. Then the comparisons, because that's the hook in your ego. Then the engineered proximity, because that's the escalation. And finally, the foggy future, because that's the cage. 5 signs, 1 pipeline. And at the end of that pipeline is a woman who has given her best years to a man who gives her his leftover hours. Sister, I need you to see the pipeline the way I see it, because once you see the whole machine, you can't unsee it. The next married man who tells you his wife doesn't understand him, you're going to hear the whole orchestra tuning up, and you're going to smile and you're going to walk away, because you know what the music leads to. Now, here's where most women mess up, and I need to spend some real time on this, because recognizing the signs is only half the battle. What you do with the recognition is everything. Mistake number 1, women think they can manage it. I know he's married, I'm not going to do anything, but the friendship is harmless, and I'd be a fool to give up the attention. Baby, nobody plans to fall. Nobody sits down and schedules a heartbreak. It happens in increments, in dopamine, in good morning texts, and by the time you realize you're in love, you're already negotiating with yourself. Well, emotional isn't the same as physical. Well, his marriage was already broken. Well, she doesn't appreciate him and I do. You don't manage fire. You either feed it or you starve it. There is no part-time fire. Mistake number 2. Women confront the wife or fantasize about it, or worse, they try to be discovered. Somewhere in year 2 of waiting, a switch flips and she starts wanting the truth to come out, because discovery feels like the only way the fog ever lifts. Let me stop you right there. If his marriage ends in an explosion, you will be standing in the wreckage holding a match, and he, mark my words, will hand you the blame. She came after me. She knew I was married. Men survive scandals by becoming victims, and the woman always becomes the weapon. You do not want to be discovered. You want to be gone, quietly, completely, like a woman who was never there, because your name is the only thing you take out of this, and it needs to come out clean. Mistake number 3, the goodbye conversation. She decides she's done, she's strong, she's clear, and then she says, I just need to tell him in person. I owe him that. We need closure. Sister, you don't owe a married man closure. Closure is for equals. Closure is for relationships that had a right to exist. The goodbye conversation is not for closure, and you know it. It's for one last hit of the drug. It's so he can look at you with those eyes and say the thing, whatever the thing is, that reopens the door you've just spent 3 weeks finding the strength to close. Please don't go. I was going to tell her this month. You're the only thing keeping me sane. And just like that, you're back on the platform waiting for the train. You want to end it? You end it in writing, 1 paragraph, no questions invited, no door left open, and then you block the number. Not because you're cruel, because you know yourself. Blocking isn't for him. It's for the version of you that gets weak at 11:47 p.m. Now, let me talk to the woman who's already in deep. Because some of you aren't watching this from a safe distance. Some of you are in it. Months in, years in, and you're sitting there with your stomach in knots because every sign I've described is your Tuesday. I'm not here to beat you up. Listen to my voice. I'm not here to beat you up. You are not stupid. You are not wicked. You are a woman who wanted to be loved, and a man sold you a timeshare in his attention and called it a future. It happens to brilliant women. It happens to church women and business women and women who raise other people's children all day. The heart does not check a ring finger before it hopes. But sister, the same heart that got you in can get you out. And here's how you know it's time. You already know. That's the truth. You already know. You're not watching this video to learn something. You're watching it to confirm something. And if you need permission from somebody, then baby, I'm giving it to you right now. You are allowed to leave today, not after the holidays, not after his project wraps, today. And let me tell you what happens after you leave, because nobody paints this picture and it's the most important one. The first 2 weeks are hard. I'm not going to lie to you. You'll reach for the phone. You'll reread old messages. You'll romanticize the good parts and forget that the good parts were 15% of the whole thing. That's normal. That's withdrawal, not love. But somewhere around week 3, week 4, something shifts. You sleep through the night. You stop flinching at your phone. You have a whole Saturday and it's yours. Nobody's scheduled to orbit. And then one morning you wake up and realize you haven't thought about him in 2 days. And the feeling isn't sadness. It's space. It's air. And into that space, I promise you, your real life starts to come back. Your friendships, your ambition, your laugh, the real one, not the one you kept ready for him. Women think leaving a married man is losing a relationship. It's not. It's ending a subscription to waiting. Everything you gave him starts coming back to you with interest. Now, for the woman who hasn't fallen yet, but feels the pull, here's the power move that changes everything. And it's simple, but simple isn't easy. You become boring to him, not rude, not cold, boring. Married men hunting outside their marriage are hunting a feeling, and the feeling requires your participation. The long replies, the laughing at his jokes, the little spark in your eye when he walks in. You take the spark back. You answer the messages late and short. You never ask about his marriage, and when he brings it up, you redirect. I'm sure you two will work it out. You stop being his mirror, his therapist, his audience, his escape. And here's what's going to happen. And I want you to watch for it because it's fascinating. He will escalate before he disappears. The attention will spike. More compliments, more coincidence, more future talk. Because a man losing his supply always doubles the order before he accepts the store is closed. Do not read the escalation as sincerity. It's not love rising, it's withdrawal. His, not yours. Stay boring, stay gray, stay kind and closed. And in a few weeks, he will find a new gas station and you will watch him drive off and thank God you were never the destination. And sister, while we're here, let me protect you from the rerun, because this lesson only works if it holds the next time too. So here are the rules going forward. A married man does not get your late nights. A married man does not get your emotional labor. A married man does not get alone time with you that his wife wouldn't be comfortable watching. A married man does not get to tell you his marriage problems, and he absolutely does not get to hear yours. Those doors stay closed, not because you're cold, but because you're expensive. Your attention is expensive. Your empathy is expensive. Your presence is expensive. And a man who cannot offer you his whole life does not get pieces of yours. That's not a wall. That's a price tag. And the right man, the single man, the available man, he will look at that price tag and pay full price gladly, because that's what men do when they actually value something. Men don't window shop what they treasure. They buy it, they insure it, and they bring it home. Now, bring it home, Steve. I hear you saying, bring it home. Huh? All right, let's bring it home. Because everything I've said today lives inside one truth. And if you forget the 5 signs, forget the stories, forget Maya and Rachel and Tasha and Denise and Angela, hold on to this. A married man's desire is not a compliment. It's a transaction where you pay and he collects. He gets the spark, the ego, the escape, and you get the waiting, the hiding, the holidays alone. That's the deal on the table every single time, dressed up in different clothes. And now that you've seen the tags on the clothes, you can't unsee them. So stand up straight, sister. Fix your crown. And hear these words and take them with you. You are not asking for too much when you ask for a whole man. You are not asking for too much when you ask for daylight. You are not asking for too much when you ask to be introduced to, celebrated, claimed in front of God and everybody. You are not too much. You have never been too much. You will never be too much. The only thing you were ever too much for was a man with too little to offer. Stop waiting. Stop hiding. Stop shrinking. You are not a secret. You are not a side door. You are not a gas station on the road of somebody else's marriage. You are a destination. You are the whole house, the whole sky, the whole future, and any man who wants you can come correct, come single, and come in the light, or he can keep on driving. Carry yourself like a woman who knows her price, knows her power, knows that the love coming for her doesn't hide, doesn't stall, and doesn't share. He's out there. He's single, he's sincere, and he is looking for a woman exactly like you. Don't make him wait because you were busy entertaining a man who already had a wife. Clear the space. The right one needs room to arrive. If this hit your spirit today, drop a heart in the comments and share this with a sister who needs to hear it. Because sometimes the best thing we can do for each other is say, here, this is for you, and I'll see you next time. Walk tall, baby. You know now.